discussed about the synchronous motor, the principle of operation, wherein we understand that the motor is essentially a non-self-starting, which means that when we apply a three-phase voltage to the motor stator, a unidirectional torque is not established initially. And please note, a pulsating torque is established initially because the rotor is yet to rotate. But however, once the rotor starts rotating, then that problem will not arise. What problem will not arise? The polarity problem will not arise, because both the rotor as well as the stator magnetic field will be rotating at the same speed. That being the case, a continuous torque is always established. So the problem comes only in the initial stage, or what you call starting stage, where the rotor is standstill, and in that condition, the synchronous motor cannot establish a unidirectional torque, and hence it fails to rotate. And therefore, if at all it has to rotate, some means of external agency is required, and that is what we call starting methods, and that we will discuss in the next article. Further, we also discussed how the excitation given to the main field, that's so DC excitation, will affect the power factor of the motor, though the motor is loaded at a constant value. That means though the load is not changed, still the power factor will change because of a variable excitation. That was the next article we discussed. And now we are coming to the third article, which is continuation of the second article. The second article is this. We have different types of excitation. We can classify excitation into under excitation, over excitation, critical, and we discussed all these things. When it is under excitation, EB, that is induced EMF, will be less than the applied voltage, in which case the power factor will be a lagging power factor. And if it becomes over excitation, that means the field, the current becomes excess, in which case the induced EMF will be higher than the applied voltage. That will be resulting in a leading power factor. Then we have one more, which is critical excitation, wherein EB becomes V and the power factor becomes unity. And there is one more, which is normal excitation, wherein EB will be equal to V in magnitude, but the power factor will be lagging. So these are the four types of excitations we discussed the last class. Is it okay? Any doubt here?
No doubt, sir.
Right. So now this is, I should say, continuation of the second article. The article title is V curve and inverted V curve. In fact, it's a very famous article as far as synchronous motor is concerned. It is famous because this article talks about the behavior of the machine under different conditions. So we will see what is that V curve, what is that inverted V curve, and how to plot this, what we understand from these two curves, and how these two curves become very important from the point of synchronous motor. It's okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. The graphical representation of armature current, IA. What is other name for armature current?
Stator current.
Correct. Good. Graphical representation of armature current, IA, versus the field current, IF, is called V curve. So V curve is basically a plot of field current versus armature current, wherein we take the field current along the x-axis, armature current along the y-axis. Since the final view looks like the English letter V, it is called V curve. That means when you plot, it looks like V. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
At the same time, the power factor versus field current is also plotted. That means an inverted V curve is a plot of field current along x-axis and power factor along y-axis. In fact, we discussed in the last article, when the excitation, that is the field current, is changed, both the armature current or the stator current and the power factor will change. So obviously, when we do an experiment on a synchronous motor, we'll be getting a lot of readings, and those readings I can plot and get both V and inverter V curves. And the procedure to plot these two curves is given in the diagram. So how we have to connect the synchronous motor for the purpose of plotting V and inverted V curves is shown in the figure. What kind of stator we see in the diagram? What
Sir,
type?
star
What type
connected,
of
sir.
stator?
Star connected, sir.
Star connected. Okay. So we have taken a star connected stator to which we apply a three-phase RYB supply and through two watt meters, W1 and W2. Have you used watt meter anytime in your engineering or elsewhere?
Yes, sir.
Where?
Sir, in my PUC, sir, electronics lab.
Very good. Okay. In a watt meter, as the name says, it records real power or consumed power, wattage. Therefore, it has two elements. One, the current element, which records current. Other one, the potential element, which records voltage. So here, ML, the terminals ML, which is basically shown as an inductor, represents a current coil. Are you getting this?
Yes, sir.
Similarly, the terminal CV, which represent a resistor, is potential coil. Okay. So the current coil is connected in series because it measures current. The potential coil is connected across or in parallel because it measures potential or voltage. There is also an ammeter to measure the line current, and there is a voltmeter to measure the line voltage. And please note, the potential coil of both the watt meters, that is the point V, is connected to the line B, which means the wattmeter 1 will record a voltage between R and B. The wattmeter 2 will record voltage between Y and B. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
And if the system is balanced, all the line voltages will be equal. Right. Then we have the field circuit shown here. The field is represented as F1, F2, an inductor, and an ammeter in series with that. We have a rheostat to vary the current through the circuit and a DC supply. Okay, so this is the setup or the arrangement to plot V and inverted V curves. Any doubt?
No doubt, sir.
Right. Now, what is the procedure? we have to apply 440 volts. When I say three phase, it's 440 volts to the stator circuit as shown in the figure. And when I do so, will the motor rotate? When I apply 440 volts to the stator, of course, with the field current given, will the motor rotate? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Is the question clear? Will the motor rotate when we apply 440 volts to the stator with the field circuit energized? Vaibhav?
Sir, no, sir. Unless and until the rotor is rotated externally, we can't start it, sir.
Correct. Yes, exactly. It will not rotate because it is a non-self-starting motor. Therefore, we have to do some kind of external adjustment so that the motor initially is rotated externally, and then only it will pick up the speed and get synchronized. So that part is assumed. That means we have done some arrangement to see that the motor is started. Then the motor will run at synchronous speed. Please note, once it gets locked with the field, the speed becomes constant equal to synchronous speed. That is why synchronous motors are also called constant speed motors. Speed will not change. Even if the load condition also, speed will not change. Are you getting this point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now we have applied the voltage and we have started the motor, and hence the motor is running at synchronous speed. Then what we do is we keep varying the field current, take corresponding values of the stator current or the armature current and the readings of the 2 wattmeters. Okay. Can you tell me why the 2 wattmeters are used here? What is the purpose behind? Hello? Is the question clear? Why we are using 2 wattmeters in the circuit? Chandramohan? Hello? Sukrit? Am I audible? Vaibhav?
Sir, don't know, sir.
Chandramohan?
Sir, don't know, sir.
Okay. We use 2 wattmeters in a 3-phase circuit to measure power as well as power factor. Okay. 2 wattmeters are used to measure power in the 3-phase circuit and also power factor. Here, our objective is not to measure power, but our objective is to measure power factor. And to measure power factor, we require readings of the wattmeters. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So This is what the V curve we're talking of. Along the x-axis, field current. So we keep varying the field current here by varying the rheostat. And of course, it's a DC current. And the stator current, corresponding stator current is noted now. And please note, this graph can be plotted at different load conditions. In this particular graph, we are doing at no load. That means no load is connected to the synchronous motor. The motor is just run freely. And the field current is continuously varied. And for every value of the field current, the corresponding armature current is noted. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, if you look at the figure, this is at no load. At some value of the field current, we see that armature current is 0. Are you able to locate this point here? I'm showing.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. When can this happen? When can armature current become 0? Are you getting this question? Hello? Is the question clear?
So when there
Yes.
is no,
Helapa.
so when there is no three-phase supply to the stator windings.
No. The supply is given. The motor is running and there is no load connected to it. Strictly speaking, when there is no load connected to a motor, what should be the armature current?
0, sir.
0. Why?
So because
So no load is connected, no, sir.
Because there is no power taken from the motor. Obviously, the motor doesn't require power from the input. Except that a very small current will be there to account for the no load losses, which is very, very small. Is it not?
yes, sir.
So, ideally speaking, the current should be 0. Otherwise, the induced EMF and the applied voltage will be equal in magnitude. E equal to V. And hence, the armature current is 0 because armature current is V minus E by Z. That is your synchronous impedance. होता है?
Yes, sir.
So, like I'm trying to compare this with a DC motor. Synchronous motor being compared with a DC motor. If I do not connect any load to a DC motor, if I apply simply the voltage, the armature current would be 0 always. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
But it is not so in case of synchronous motor. Synchronous motor, it becomes 0 only at one particular point. That is what we see here. That is for a particular value of IF. And what happens is, at that value of IF, the power factor becomes unity. That's what we discussed in the last article. As we keep changing IF, the power factor keeps changing. You see, can you recall that? I will put that back again. ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. Is it clear? Hello?
Yes, sir.
ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ, the last diagram you concentrate. Current IA and V are in phase, which means the power factor is unity. ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ? When such a thing happens, under no load condition, the current IA becomes 0. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So then if you go on increasing IF beyond this point where the power factor had become unity, we understand that it becomes over excitation. Any current higher than the field current required, field current which makes the power factor 1, that means any current higher than that critical field current which makes the power factor 1 is called over excitation. So towards right of this, we see over excitation. And we have discussed earlier that when the excitation is over, excess, the power factor becomes leading. ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ?
Yes, sir.
And we know leading power factor concept ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ Q is supplied. ಏನಂಗಂತ ಅರ್ಥ ಹೇಳಕ್ಕಾಗತ್ತಾ ಯಾರಾದ್ರು? What is Q?
So reactive power.
Correct. Q is reactive power. What is the unit?
Sir, kVAR.
Yes, kilovolt ampere reactive. This reactive power can be of two types. One, supplied reactive power, other one consumed reactive power. Consumed reactive power on the ಏನಪ್ಪ ಅರ್ಥ ಅಂದ್ರೆ that power will flow from source to the load. I repeat, consumed reactive power is the power which flows from source to the load. In this case, source to the motor. ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ?
Yes, sir.
Whereas Q supplied andre the power will flow from motor to source. Which is good for us?
Source to load or source to motor?
No. Between the two Q, one supplied, other one consumed, which is good for us? Or which has to be there? ಏನಮ್ಮ? ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ಸಲ ಹೇಳು.
Consumed reactive.
Consumed is good for us. Okay. Chandramohan and others?
Sir, leading power factor we require, sir. That's why supplied Q is good for us.
Yeah, can you tell why we require leading power factor?
Sir,
ಹೇಳು, ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೆ ನಾವು. Chandramohan answer is correct. But why?
Sir, leading power factor ಇದ್ದಾಗ KVAR ಕನ್ಸ್ಯೂಮ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಇದಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಸರ್.
KVAR ಸಪ್ಲೈ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಟು ದ ಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ.
Yes, sir. So we are mainly concentrated on KVA rating, sir, real power.
Correct. Andre what he is trying to say is, for any electrical system, the total power is very important for us. Total power is what we call volt ampere. It's also called by the name apparent power. This apparent power has got two components, P and Q. Apparent power is designated as S. So S has P and Q, two components. P is the one what we use for some application, for doing some work. Q is not used by us, but it will be used by the system. So if Q becomes 0, that is ideal case. That happens when power factor is unity, correct?
Yes, sir.
Because P equal to VI cos phi, Q equal to VI sin phi. If it is single phase, three phase adre root 3 VL IL cos phi, root 3 VL IL sin phi. Correct?
Yes, sir.
I want others to also interact because these are all very important basics of electrical engineering.
Yes, sir.
If your basics are clear, you will be throughout your career. So P becomes yes, Q becomes 0 when cos phi becomes 1. That is our ideal expectation. But it will not happen because majority of the loads what we have are what?
Lagging power factor loads.
Are lagging. Lagging means they keep consuming that Q from the source. But that is not required for us for the application. But that is required for the load. ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಿದೆಯಾ ಇದು?
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
therefore, I have to minimize that Q. That is possible when I put a load which is able to supply Q back to the source instead of taking Q from the source. That happens when the load is operating at leading power factor. ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಿದೆಯಾ?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And that is the concept of a capacitor being used as a power factor improvement device. Similarly, we see here a synchronous motor operates at a leading power factor for excitation beyond the critical value, which we call overexcited. And in such a condition, the motor will not draw that Q from the source. Instead, it will supply Q back to the source, which is very good for us. That means it is doing a job of a capacitor. Are you able to appreciate this?
Yes, sir.
And for that reason, the synchronous motor is also referred to as a synchronous condenser, because condenser meaning is capacitor. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So towards the right, that is for overexcitation case, the motor behaves as a leading PF load, and that is good for us. In which case, I use the motor, okay, not only for the purpose of doing some job, but also to correct the power factor or to make the kVAR rating low, because it's able to supply back to the source. And please note, when such a thing is done, the kVA as such will decrease. And once the kVA decreases for the same P, I'm talking of for the same P, once the kVA decreases, the investment what we do on the power supply becomes low. And that is where the system becomes more economical. ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಿದೆಯಾ?
Yes, sir.
Other students?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And similarly, we see when the field current is lower than that critical value, that means towards the left, the power factor becomes lagging. That means it becomes a normal lagging load, okay? And obviously Q becomes consuming. That is bad. Please note whether it's bad or good, I have to use. Like it all depends on the application. So when I operate the motor towards the left, I cannot use it as a power factor corrector. But when I use it as, when I operate on the right, I use a synchronous motor also as a power factor corrector in addition to driving some mechanical system. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And when we load, in fact, this is on no load. Okay. When we load, everything will be similar to this, but for the difference that the armature current or the stator current will get increased because the load wants the current to rise. Therefore, under a loaded condition, the characteristic will shift up. Sarinappa?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
higher the load, higher would be the shift. ಫುಲ್ ಲೋಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬಾ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಶಿಫ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಹಾಫ್ ಲೋಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಮ್ಮಿ, ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಕ್ವಾರ್ಟರ್ ಲೋಡ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಸೋ ಆನ್. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ವಿ ಕರ್ವ್. ಎನಿ ಡೌಟ್?
No doubt, sir.
ಓಕೆ. ವೈಭವ್, ಸುಕೃತ್ ಇಲ್ವಾ?
No doubt, sir.
ಸುಕೃತ್?
ಇದೇನು ಸರ್ ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂಸ್ ಇತ್ತು ಸರ್.
ಓಕೆ, ರೈಟ್. Shall we move? Shall we move?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So here, this is inverted V. In fact, the concept is same. Only thing is I am trying to visualize that at a different perspective. Okay. So your x-axis is field excitation again, but your y-axis is power factor. And how do we measure power factor for every value of field excitation? That is the formula we have to use. Cosine phi is tan inverse √3 W1 minus W2 by W1 plus W2. That is where we use 2 wattmeters to find the power factor. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So we keep changing IF and note down the readings of wattmeter. Accordingly, we find the power factor, and then you plot. It looks ulta V, inverted V. Okay. So obviously, this is how ಸರಿಗಿದೆ ನೋಡಿ ಇದು ಒಂದ್ಸಲ. Is it okay?
No. No, sir.
Why?
Sir, leading power factor ಇದ್ದಾಗ Q delivers, sir.
Correct. Very good. That means ಇದು ರಿವರ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾನೆ. ಇದು towards the right is leading, left is lagging. Correct?
Yes, sir.
And when it is leading, that is towards the right, we see that as the excitation keeps increasing, the power factor will come down, but still it is leading. ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಿದೆಯಾ?
Yes, sir.
ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನ್ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, if I make the excitation too high, then the power factor will decrease, but still it is leading only. Since the power factor decreases, it is not a good sign. Our ideal thing is this, illi, wherein the power factor is unity. ಹೌದಾನೆ?
Yes, sir.
So we have to be very clear with regard to the IF value. ಇದು IFO ತುಂಬಾ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ one problem is the core gets saturated. The magnetic field gets saturated. ಹೌದಾನೆ?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And once it gets saturated, the problem is I cannot increase IF further. Even if I increase, the improvement will be very, very small. So that I have to know. And towards the left is a lagging PF. So this figure is shown ulta here. Idu lagging agbeku, idu leading agbeku. Okay. And significance is the same as the previous article. That is, when we make the excitation under excitation, it becomes a lagging PF. That means the motor operates as simply a motor without any PF correction. Any doubt here? Hello?
No doubt, sir.
Okay. If that is the case, we will go ahead with the other article, starting methods for synchronous motor. Right. At this point, I would like to bring to your notice that there is one clear-cut difference between a synchronous motor and induction motor. I think I have told this earlier. When I talk of AC motors, two broad categories of motors we come across. One is synchronous, other one asynchronous. Asynchronous is induction motor. And there is a very clear-cut difference between the two. That is, in synchronous motor, we have the field supplied with a DC current. I repeat, in synchronous motor or any synchronous machine, including alternator, there is a DC current in the field. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
But in case of asynchronous motor, that is induction motor, there is no DC supply for the field at all. Is it clear? Hello?
Okay, sir.
Then you have to immediately ask me the question, sir, how the field is established? If there is no supply given from external means to the field, how the field gets established? Question ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಾ?
Sir, once again ಹೇಳಿ.
ಸಿಂಕ್ರನಸ್ ಮೋಟರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಸಿ ಸಪ್ಲೈ ಇದೆ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ಗೆ. Therefore, that will establish a magnetic field. Correct?
Yes, sir.
ಇಂಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಮೋಟರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಸಿ ಸಪ್ಲೈ ಇಲ್ವೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ಗೆ, ಬಟ್ ಸ್ಟಿಲ್ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಈಸ್ ಎಸ್ಟಾಬ್ಲಿಷ್ಡ್. ಆಗ್ಲೇಬೇಕು. ಆಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಂಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಮೋಟರ್ ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ವರ್ಕ್, because all these machines operate on the principle of induction only. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
But the question is, induction motor alli nanu external age I am not supplying any current to the field, and how the field is established in induction motor.
Sir, do you give AC excitation to the field, sir?
ಏನಪ್ಪ?
Sir, I am
ಹೇಳು ಮತ್ತೆ?
asking you, sir. I am asking whether can we give AC excitation to the field?
ನಾನು ಅದನ್ನೇ ಹೇಳ್ತಿರೋದು, ನಾವು ಆಚೆಯಿಂದ ಯಾವುದು ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಇಂಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಮೋಟರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ.
Sir, due to stator current, it will execute field, sir.
ದಿ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, when again it's also a motor. Induction motor is a motor similar to a synchronous motor. For both we have to apply three-phase supply. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Right. What happens in case of induction motor is, when we apply a three-phase supply to the stator, similar to synchronous motor, a rotating magnetic field is established. There is no difference with regard to this point. Hotane?
Yes, sir.
That rotating field will have a speed equal to 120 f by p, which is called
Synchronous speed.
correct, synchronous speed. So ಅಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂನುವೆ the concept is same. Next change ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಏನ್ change ಆಗುತ್ತೆ? In case of synchronous motor, this field will be rotating around the stator, and since we have given a DC supply for the field winding, a DC, that is constant field or static field, is also present along with the rotating field. Correct?
Yes, sir.
And these two fields interact with each other, constituting a torque. That torque will rotate the rotor.
Yes, sir.
Rotor ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾವುದು?
Field.
Correct. Very good. Field only. So that is the concept here. But in case of induction motor ಆ ತರ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? Synchronous speed ಇದ್ದೇ ಇದೆ. That means the stator field is rotating at constant speed. And there is no external supply for the field of induction motor. This rotating magnetic field, okay, will interact with the conductors of the rotor. That means rotor ideyalla, rotor will be made of conductors in case of induction motor. So these conductors in the rotor will be induced with the EMF because of induction, because this continuously rotating magnetic flux of stator will involve in the induction process. ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ?
Yes, sir.
And hence the rotor has to be always closed. ಅದು ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಆಗಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ EMF ಇಂಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. Our ultimate objective in induction motor is to see that a current is established in the rotor circuit. You got it?
Yes, sir.
Therefore, the rotor is a closed circuit. Therefore, this EMF induced in the rotor because of the continuously rotating stator field will give rise to a current in the rotor. Rotor andre field anta. Same ane. Field, and that current will induce flux or will produce magnetic flux. Therefore, now we have again two fluxes. One, the stator flux, which is rotating. Other one, the rotor flux. Correct? Which is not rotating. Adu static ane.
Yes, sir.
So that is where the difference is. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟರ್ನಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಏನು ಕೊಡಲ್ಲ, but the induced EMF itself is responsible for establishment of the magnetic flux. Okay. So ಆಮೇಲೆ why it is called asynchronous ಅಂದ್ರೆ, these two fluxes will interact very similar to what we have seen in the case of synchronous motor, and a torque will establish. That torque will rotate, and hence the rotor will rotate. But the rotor cannot rotate at the speed equal to synchronous speed. That is why it's called asynchronous speed. Asynchronous motor. Andre, the rotor speed will be always less than the synchronous speed. ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ?
Yes, sir.
But in case of synchronous motor, ulta. The rotor speed will be always equal to synchronous speed. ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ that torque which is so established is pulled, will pull the rotor towards the synchronism. So that's where synchronous motors are constant speed motors, whereas induction motors are not constant speed motors, because the speed is always less than synchronous speed, and that speed can change with the load. More the load, less the speed. Okay, so we'll stop here.